I will turn off my video due to my internet unstable. So just to make sure that it will, hopefully we can survive. If I've been kicked out, just be patient. I will be able to come back to reconnect. Okay, to be patient. Um, Thang Theng, can you go ahead and recite the Buddha name for me, please?
Yes, Namo Fundamental Teachers Sakamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teachers Sakamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teachers Sakamuni Buddha.
And go ahead and read the English one.
The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons difficult to encounter. Now thus come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning.
Again, Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Thank you. So I decided that we will change the topic a little bit. I will delay the topic for the bodhicitta for some time because we have some new people here. So I think it's a good idea to talk about the fundamental Buddha teaching is the 12 link dependent origination. This is the death and rebirth cycle. It's very important. I think it's worth it to take some time and we can discuss about this. Okay. Mm. Uh, William, you know about this thing, right? You do.
Yes, we've discussed it a few times over the past year.
Okay. But the way I share the teaching here, I will rail into the detail with many different examples, and we can use this to apply into different applications. Okay, so we will know how to use this kind of principle in our daily life. It's important. All right. I'm currently share this teaching in the Vietnamese class right now. Basically, I'm translate from Vietnamese into English, and I also get some from the website. So we will have the detailed material. Okay. All right. So before we go into the beginning of before we begin the lesson, I will introduce you. This is the 12 link dependent origination, and we will learn about this in detail. At the beginning, the first one we call ignorant. Due to ignorance, that means lacking of understanding the truth. So lacking understanding of the truth.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So due to lacking understanding of the truth, what kind of truth do we do not know? For example, the Four Noble Truths, the law of cause and effect, the impermanent, the no self, that means selfless or no self, and also the Eightfold Path. So this kind of due to this kind of ignorance, then mental formation, it means karma, action. Karma come from the mind, the mouth, and the body. Due to the three types of karma, we pray 10 good deeds or 10 bad deeds. The mind, we have three, that means greed, hatred, ignorant, right? That is the three bad things, the three bad deeds about the mind. Opposite, that means no greed, no hatred, no ignorance. That means the three good deeds from the mind. Due to the mind, we will have the action come from the mouth and the body. So the mouth, we have 4. That means the first one is lying. That means we do not tell the truth. That means lying. The second one is divisible speech. That means, for example, if I have 2 friends, right? Friend A and friend B, I go to the person A, I say that the person B tell bad thing about you to me, but actually person B did not say that, but I'm the one who said it. I go to the person B, I do the same thing. I say that person A tell bad thing about you to me. So the person A did not do that. I'm the one who divide them. That means divisible speech. And this is usually happen in the politics, right? Politician is very good at this thing. That is the second type of the speech. The third one is the exaggerated. Exaggerated, that means my house is as big as the White House. That means we exaggerated. The fourth one is the harsh word. That means we using the harsh word, right? That is the 4th type of speech that we call the bad deed of the mouth. But the good deed of the mouth is just opposite. That means no lying, no divisible speech, no exaggerated, and no harsh word. Divisible speech also, we also call double tongue, right? Double tongue is also the same thing with the divisible speech. So this is the 4 type come from the mouth. So 3 plus 4 is 7. And the 3 type the body, it means killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. That is the 3 bad deeds about the body. Opposite will be the 3 good deeds from the body. That means no killing, no stealing, and no sexual misconduct. So we have 10, right? 7 plus 3, 10. So from the 3 type of karma, we have 10 deeds, either good or bad. And due to the power of the karma and also the ignorance here, it will be the condition to the consciousness. That means this consciousness, it usually means the 8 consciousness. That means the alaya. The alaya, this means the consciousness storage. That means it store all the karma that we pray in the past, since for many lives in the past up to now. And the alaya is the one to enter into the mother womb, right? And inside the mother womb, the fetus will be the power of the karma here. It will develop the fetus mind and the body. Mind and matter, it means mind and body, basically. You see, the ignorant and mental formation, it means the past cause. And this is the present effect. That means due to the power of the karma we pray, based on the ignorance, then our body is produced from this one right here. So that's why some people come out from the mother womb. They born into the rich family, the poor family. They have some person have a long life, some person have a short life, some person born with the intelligence, some person born with the stupid, some person born in a high class and low class. Many different kinds come from the power of the karma. Therefore, this one and this one together, we produce different type of the body and the mind. And inside the mother womb, the fetus, also before, that means about 38 weeks, inside the mother womb, it will produce the 6 sense. That means the eye, the nose, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, and the mind. Okay, so this is what we call 6 senses. So when the mother give birth to the baby come out, right? The baby come out, and That means maybe 2 or 3 years old of age, the baby can be able to, the sixth sense can be able to contact to the sixth sense object. That means the eye, when we see the visual object, that means the eye contact the visual object. Then the ear, when we listen to the sound, right? That means the ear contact the sound object. The nose, when we smell, right? The nose contact the odor. That is what we contact. The tongue, when we taste food, that means the tongue contact the tasting. The body, when we touch, that means the body contact the touch. And the mind is also have contact. The mind, the object of the mind is the mind. It's just like the camera, right? It will recording all the first 5 sense activity. That means the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, and the body. Those will be recorded by the mind, and it will become the object of the mind. That we call the Dharma of the mind. So when we go into the room, right, we turn off the light and we sit for the meditation. All those activities that we contact during the day, it will appear. All the image will appear from the mind. Those image we call, those are the object of the mind. So the mind contact those objects. So far, you understand, Jenny? Everyone?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Tammy, you understand, right? Tammy?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Due to the contact, that means the mind will pay attention to the same object. That means, for example, when our eye contact the visual object, right? That is the contact. What happens when we contact? That means the mind, that means the brain, it will pay attention to the object. That means, for example, when our eyes see the flower, the mind will pay attention to the flower. Therefore, we have feeling. The feeling, we have 3 types of feeling: pleasure, unpleasure, neither pleasure nor unpleasant. Okay, so these are the 3 types of feeling. Due to the feeling, we will have craving. Well, craving, it doesn't mean that it's only for the desire. Well, sometimes, right? Sometimes when we hate someone and we holding the resentment, that means we are craving for resentment. It's also another type of craving. So, due to the craving, we attach. Sometimes this is also called attachment or graphing attachment or flinching, right? It's a different term. So attachment, due to the craving, we attach. And due to attachment is becoming, what that means? That means the attachment becomes so strong, it will becoming. That's what it means. That means it's extreme attachment. This is what the becoming means. When it becomes extreme attachment, it will, that means when we die, right? We give up this body and we will look for the next body right away. That's what we call birth, right here. And of course, when we have birth, we will have aging and death, so on and so on. So you see that the past, the present, the past is just the ignorant and mental formation. The present, that means the consciousness is when we enter into the mother womb, and this is how we produce. Up to the feeling, this is where the present effect based on the past cause. And also the present cause, this is when we have craving and attachment, this is where we create the karma. It's similar to the mental formation. Okay. No, let me take it back. Craving is similar to ignorance. Okay. Attachment and becoming is similar to mental formation. When we look at this two right here, it represents this tree right here. But when my internet is unstable. Okay. Okay. Hopefully it go away. You can hear me?
Yes, no issues.
You're going a little bit in and out from my computer.
Okay, because it appears on my computer. My internet is very poor, but it's still working on it. But okay, but we try our best to. But so far you can hear me clear, right? So far.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's good. That's important. So when we look at the ignorant and mental formation, it's equivalent to the three type over here. We will talk about it more. It means craving, attachment, and becoming. So craving is almost the same with ignorance. Our ignorance is almost same. Well, because we are ignorant, and also we have a right of craving. So basically, so attachment and becoming, this is where we play karma. Okay, right here. Therefore, when we die, right, we will have another birth, and we keep repeat like this cycle, and less time. Okay, there is no beginning and no ending. As long as we are still in the ignorance and craving, that where we stuck in this cycle forever. So far, so good. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Anywhere it's not unclear? It's not clear? So, okay. If you don't have questions for me, then I will continue. All right. William, would you help me to read this one for me, please?
Yes. The 12 causes of dependent origination are about the close relation of the 12 dependent origination factors that operate continuously in sentient beings, especially in human beings. The 12 causes of dependent origination taught by Shakyamuni Buddha is one of the many types of teachings belonging to the doctrine of dependent origination of all things, conditions arising. Therefore, to be able to understand the 12 causes of dependent origination, we first need to learn the basics of this doctrine of dependent origination. The 12 causes of dependent origination is also called the law of conditionality. Dependent origination includes dependent. Conditions, factors are for a thing or an event to arise, to form. Concrete in humans, conditions constitute mental as well as physical phenomena.
Okay, good. Okay, keep read a B and we stop right there.
Arising, arises.
So that means dependent arising. That's what it means. Okay, to work together, it will form. So far, it is easy to understand.
It seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that means it's that means everything is formed by the dependent condition arise, right? So that's how we form, include living being and non-living being. Okay, but in this case we're talking about the human. That means mental and physical as well. Okay, so when the alaya, right, need to enter the mother womb, the condition have to be the parent intercourse, and the area will rely depend on the father's sperm and the mother egg, and that's why these three elements, that means alaya, consciousness, the father's sperm and the mother egg, it will create the kalala. It's just like the condensed milk for the first 7 days. That is the beginning of the human embryo, right? The beginning of the human embryo, or we call it fetus. That is yeah. Okay, go ahead, Ante. Oh, well, no, I mean, William.
In that sense, dependent origination simply means dependent arising, conditional arising, or chain of cause and effect. For more precise explanations, dependent origination points out that the phenomena of all things in the universe are due to factors and conditions dependently arising to form like real existence, like a real extinction. But it is just a delusion. It is neither a real existence nor a real extinction. This is the endless cycle of existence and extinction, like the endless birth and death cycle.
Okay, good. Stop right here. So, okay, sorry. So basically, that means we will depend on the chain of cause and effect, but actually more is precisely that means depend on the factor and the condition. Factor in here, we can think about, usually the law of cause and effect, it means the cause and the condition together. Okay, that will give a rising to form the real existence and real extinction. What do they mean by this is just a delusion and neither real existence and no real extinction? What do you think about this?
That it's an appearance that we can only really say that something exists if there's some aspect of it that never changes. Like if it's just a temporary phenomena that's arising and falling away, we have to say put a beginning and an ending to it to make it a thing. And so then we really have to come in with thoughts and with our language to describe a thing, and we have to kind of ignore or be unaware of the bigger picture, and then we can make it seem with our thinking that it is a separate independent thing. But if we consider that it is dependent upon all of these other things, like for instance conditions that my existence is dependent upon is the presence of the earth, the presence of gravity, of the sun, of plants, of many other people. So although I can think of myself as independent, in reality, if the sun wasn't here, I wouldn't be here. So I can't really distinguish myself from the sun. And then the sun is also dependent upon all of these other conditions. So in that way, separating anything out from this whole, this whole sea or ocean of phenomena, and to say there is a certain thing or like that is actually has true existence arising and falling away. Well, it's a bit of a story. It takes a narrow view in order for it to appear to be a separate thing. But in actuality, it's totally dependent upon all these other things, and it's all interdependent. So there's not a permanent thing in there.
Okay. Okay. Cô Hoàng Lý, what do you think about when we say that this is the endless cycle of the existence and extinction, like the endless birth and death cycle? But if remember, it also means that it's not the real, right? Existence and no real extinction.
To me, when it says neither a real existence nor a real extinction, I kind of agree with William on his explanation, but to me, I look at further as emptiness because it's unreal. It's everything ultimately unreal. So if it's all relative. You have the existence is not there. Therefore, if it's not there, then there's no extinction. And if you look at that in that sense of emptiness, and I know that somewhere in in Buddhism, we explain also emptiness. And I think it kind of into that.
Okay, okay. All right. So let me explain you in two different ways. One is we can use the human at the example, and we will use the non-data material in another example. So for the human, right? So we born and we die, we born and we die, and let's cycle, right? What does that mean? It means that when we, okay, let's say that when we die, right, we give up this body and mind. That means that the five skandha, right? The five skandha, it means the form, the feeling, perception, the mental formation, and the consciousness. So that means when the alaya, that means the eight consciousness leaving the old body, right? We call that. The doctor said this is okay. This person is they declare okay. This person is no. It's no. That means he or she dead because the heartbeat is stopped. Yes, but that's the physical itself. But when the alaya is the one is connect from the previous life to the next life, and it's continue in endless time. So for the body, it means that is the real existence and also a real extinction. But for the alaya, it's not a real existence and not a real extinction. Does it make sense to you, William?
Can you say that one more time?
Okay. For the human being, right? When that means we born and we die many times, right? And let's cycle, right? And let's say the person right now just passed away, right? That means the the alaya will. That means the eight consciousness alaya will leaving the body, right? And the body, what we said, the doctor said that this person is dead because they're not happy, right? To the world, it seems to be real existence due to the body, due to the physical body. And it's also a real extinction due to the physical body. That makes sense so far?
Yes.
But to the alaya, the eight consciousness, it means it leaving the body, that means the form, right? It becomes formless. And this formless, that means the alaya, it's not a real existence and it's not a real extinction. That makes sense? This is important.
Yes, that does make sense.
Okay. So when we contemplate in this way, then that means we have, and when we die, before we die, we will not be afraid of dying. The reason is this body is just a temporary, right? And if we usually contemplate in this way, and we know how to live wisely, because when we contemplate this thing, and we will value our body to do the good thing, to benefit others as well as benefit ourselves in the spiritual path. This is important. Yes. Well.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So, okay, so when somebody dies, the body dies, the alaya continues on. What happens to the mind? Does the mind die, or does it continue on with the alaya into another body?
Okay, that's a good idea. Let me give you the eight consonants together so we understand this kind of teaching in detail. Okay, give me 1 second. I have to open this. Well, this is the okay. Let me see if I have this thing here. Okay, good. I have it here. I have too many different files, but it's okay. Okay. I will introduce this to Tammy so you understand this is how the mind works. in Buddhism. All right, it is similar to everyone. I think by now, yeah, I think everyone should be recognize this thing, right? Jenny and William.
Yes.
Okay, this is what we call in the consciousness only. We have only 8 consciousness, no more, no less, only 8. But in the Theravada teaching, they only believe 6 consciousness. That means the first 5 consciousness, that and also the mind consciousness. But they do not know the 7 and the 8. But actually 7 is so important. 8 is also important. Okay, let me quickly here. Let me give you the overview. I think this is a good thing to review, right? I will give you the medical view, how the mind work in the medical view, and how the mind work in the Buddhist consciousness view. So you understand exactly. You know what? Let me see. This is how I use this thing to teach the kid. Okay, this for the kid. I also use the Steve Jobs example to teach them. Okay, I think this is okay. Okay, all right. I think this is a good thing to review. Tammy, would you help me to read this? Tammy?
The central nervous system controls most functions of the body and mind. It consists of 2 parts, the brain and the spinal cord. The brain is the center of our thoughts, the interpreter of our external environment, and the origin of control over body movement. Like a central computer, it interprets information from our eyes, sight, ears, sound, nose, smell, tongue, taste, and skin touch, as well as from internal organs such as the stomach. The spinal cord is the highway for communication between the body and the brain. When the spinal cord is injured, the exchange of information between the brain and other parts of the body is disrupted.
Okay, thank you. So this is very easy to understand, right? So we have the brain connect with the spinal, and the spinal is where the communication happen, because it carry a lot of the nerve, right? The nerve it connect from the brain to the entire body. That means the brain will control the movement of the body, and also control the feeling, the sense, right? All these things here controlled by the brain. It's so important. Okay. Of course, when the the spinal or the nerve is damaged, the information exchange will be interrupted. So basically, yeah, that's good. All right, let me go ahead and Thắng Thiền, go ahead and read this thing for me.
When our eyes see a rose flower, the eye are just like a camera taking a picture of its flower. The eye will send the image of the flower to the brain through nerves. Once the brain receives the image object, it then converts to the image object into the sight. If in the past we have learned or saw this flower, then now we can be able to recognize and distinguish about the rose flowers, such as color, size, and flower information.
Okay, that makes sense, right? Okay.
Yes.
So which one provide the function of the distinguishing? Which one?
The eye.
Do you think the eye will be able to do that at the beginning?
Wait. Oh, you mean no, the rose flower.
Okay, thank you. What do you think about it, William?
the brain will do the distinguishing.
Right, the brain. So basically, the brain is important, right? Um, John, can you help me to read this thing? John, are you there? Okay, Jenny, can you help me to read it?
The brain gives us the ability to distinguish, not the eyes. Our eyes are just like a window. If a window is broken, then we just need to replace it with a new window. It is also the same with the other four faculties, such ear, nose, tongue, and body. Our brain controls our entire body's movement, senses, and etc. Nowadays, the medical scientists have tested the artificial eye on a mouse that they have connected the nerve to the artificial eyes and restored up to 90% of the sight. In the future, they will try to test that on humans.
You see that? The power of the medical, right? The technology.
Yes.
What does this mean to us? It mean, what do you think? What does this mean to us?
I think we will become superhumans in the future.
Superhuman.
I think that's what that means for us.
Basically, did I write this thing correctly for the answer, William?
Yes, as far as I know, yeah.
Okay. So basically, the eye is just a window, right? When it's broken, we just replace it. But what happened to the brain? When it's broken, you cannot fix it. That is the done deal, right? So, let's say that if a person if a person collapse, right? If a person collapse for 10 or 15 minutes before the ambulance arrives, you know what? The brain, the memory cell of the brain will decrease. That means they will damage, right? It will damage. And you know what? Even though let's say that person is collapsed and they went into the coma, and after a few days, the doctor be able to take that person out of the coma state. And when and it will take some time, maybe month. That means the person come back to the normal. Even though to the normal state, the brain is no longer the same in the past. The brain could be just like a kid of 1 or 2 years old because the memory it's damaged. Depend on how much it damaged. When the memory is damaged, we cannot be able to fix it. It's important.
But see, in the future, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm just, imagining right now. But you see, the same way that they can fix the eye now in the future, what if they can fix the brain in the future? What if they can fix it?
Oh, well, I think they can fix the brain. Only the robot. You know what does that mean? The robot. The robot. They don't need. We just put the chip in. It will work.
Yeah.
I mean, the robot. Like we are the one who program the chip, right? Well, when the robot chip is damaged, we just replace another chip. Yeah, only the robot, but not the human, not the living being. The brain is damaged, it's damaged. Right, William?
It would be for something like memory. Yeah, if the nerve cells in the hippocampus that are involved with long-term memory, if they died, I don't think that we could expect to be able to restore that because it's just too specific. Like when that memory is laid down, unless we had some sort of backup. Like if before someone ever had the damage made, maybe there's some way that the way those memory cells are laid down could be recorded and then could be restored perhaps. But that's like, I imagine that's got to be hundreds of years out in the future, if ever. So I don't know.
Maybe in the future, we don't know. Yeah, but anyway, for now, at least we know the brain is the main control. Okay, the main one, very important. This is same thing when the ear, right? This is the medical view for the sight. So basically, when the brain receives the image of the flower or whatever the object that we are seeing, the brain, what they do is they will convert the object into the sight. For example, the ear, when we hear something, right? That means the ear will, just like a camera, it will take a picture of whatever the sound. Let's say that we listen to the music. It will take the image, a picture of that sound, and it will send to the brain. And what the brain do is convert the image of the sound into the hearing. Okay, and this is where we can be able to to distinguish about the sound. The same thing with the hearing. Okay. Okay. So basically, I just want to skip through this. This is very simple, right? Now, let's talking about in the Buddhist consciousness view, how the mind works. It's so important. And when we understand this is go beyond the medical. I think it go beyond the medical. And this is very beautiful teaching. Okay, all right. So when the eye contact the visual object, in this case, we can talking about, this is the form, we talk about the eye see the flower, right? The rose flower. What happened? It will create the eye consciousness. The consciousness, it means recognize. But actually the eye consciousness at this time, they do not be able to distinguish this object. They have no idea, even though this is the flower. So what did the eye consciousness do? It will, just like a camera, it will take a picture of this object image, and it will send that object to the nerve, to the brain, to the nerve, to the brain. That means the brain, that means the sixth consciousness, we call the mind consciousness. This is what we call the brain. Okay. And the same thing for the ear. The ear listen to the sound. It will create the ear consonant. The ear consonant will take the picture of the sound object and send to the brain. The same thing with the nose and go on. Let me go to here. Go back to here. Now, let's see how this thing works. The function of the mind, what do they do? Well, we are using the mind consciousness to do perception. That means it's where the thinking is. The idea, the thought, right? The monkey mind, the short-term memory, and this is where the decision making, right? This is the one, it makes the decision to do good or bad. Okay, that's important. This one right here, it will, of course, it will communicate with, that means the first five will communicate with the brain. And at the same time, when the brain make the decision, it will control the first five senses. And we call the sense consciousness or the body consciousness. In the karma, the law of the karma, the mind will be the karma of the mind. This first five senses right here, it will be the karma of the body and the karma of the mind. In Buddhism, when we're talking about karma, this only three types of karma. Karma, it means action. So far, so good? Yeah, is that clear so far?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the communication between the two. Now, when the eye see the flower, right? The eye will create the eye consciousness, and it will send the flower object into the brain. And the brain, you know what? It will put that information into the short-term memory. At this time, the short-term memory do not have much information, only the object. So what, what do they do? So the mind consciousness, it will, the mana is the one we call the cell, right? There are 4 types of cell. That means cell delusion, cell view, cell pride, and right here. Let me show you two here. Where is it? Okay. Anyway, cell pride and cell love, right? So basically, the mana also have another name we call affliction, emotional affliction. This is the mana due to the cell, right? And why we call this is the cell? You know what? Let me go down here quickly. I want to. Okay, here. Right here. The mana. This is the 7 consonant. It's called emotional affliction. The 4th cell right here. It means self delusion. It's equal to self. It means ignorance. Self, that means I, me. That's what we call. And what the I, me in here represent the 5 skandha. That means the form, the feeling, the perception, the mental formation, and the consciousness. It represents the body and the mind. But the body and the mind is impermanent, but we do not see as impermanent, therefore it's called ignorance. And it's called delusion. Does that make sense so far, right? Tell me you understand this, right?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, but this is important. The other 3 cells here, self view, self pride, self love. What does self view mean? That means self view. That means the way we understand the knowledge and those things we uphold on our view, and we cannot be able to accept other people's view. Right? For example, in the politician, right? Each one of them have his or her own view, and sometimes it's not very easy for them to accept other view, other people's view. Therefore, they fight, right? They fight, and sometimes they harm each other due to the self view. Self pride, that means I am the best, no one else. That is what we call self pride. Self love, that means whatever we love, such as family, house, the property, the material, the car, whatever we love, right? I give you another example. For example, there were a queen, right? The queen, one day she asked, she said to the king, Majesty, do you love me? Of course, the king said, I love you just as myself. Really? That the queen replied. And she said that if what happened, one day I have an affair with other man, what will you do? And you know what the king said? I will kill you. At this time, the queen said that, you know, Majesty, you say you love me. Actually, you love you. You don't love me. Does that make sense to you, William?
Oh, yes. Yeah, because if the king had an affair, he wouldn't kill himself.
Because we love, when we love someone, or when we say we love, right? We love with the condition. We love with the condition, okay? Therefore, that's what we call self-love. But the Bodhisattva and the sickly one, when they say that they have a loving kindness to the living being, they love with unconditional. They call it unconditional love. They do not attach to it, but whenever it comes with affinity, they will help it with their best to help the living being to liberate from the suffering. That is the whole idea. Okay? So our parents love us. They love with the condition. Right? The same thing. That means all living beings, when they say they love someone, love something, they always attach with the condition. All right, that's what we call self-love. Let me explain to you the self-delusion one more time. In the human being, we attach to this body because this is impermanent, but we do not see as impermanent. That's why we also call self-delusion. What about the God from the heaven? They also attach to their body as the permanent, instead of they do not see that their body also impermanent. Self-delusion in the animal, that means the animal attached to their own body, right? The same thing with the hungry ghost or the hell being. What there were a story. I give you this kind of story quickly here. There were old monk. The old monk, he lived in the temple with his disciple, and he old, right? He very old, and he get sick, and he got sick, and he lay on bed, and the disciple take care of him, right? And you know what the disciple do? He don't know. He doesn't know what type of medication to help his master to get well. So what he do is he cook some kind of soup, right? And hopefully that help the master get better. And you know what? The master, that means the teacher, ate the soup, and he asked the disciple, well, oh, what kind of what kind of soup did you give to me? It helped me feel better. I gain energy. And you know what? Um, the disciple replied to him, said, "Oh, I give you the chicken soup. The chicken soup." You know what? He died on spot. He died on spot. And you know what? Because he died on spot, and he became the hungry. Well, he became ghost. That means every night. You know what? That means the old monk became the ghost. He disturbed the people in the temple. He doesn't want anyone in the temple to live there in peace. So everyone afraid, and they left the temple. And the temple become, that means it's empty, right? That means so later on there was a Zen master. He passed by, and he said that he want to look for a place to stay for a night. And and he see that this temple is nobody here. He just want to stay here overnight. And the people in the village said that, oh, do not stay here because they are ghosts here. That at night time they will come and they will harm you. And you know the Zen master said, don't worry, okay. And he stayed there on that day. And you know what? At midnight, he prepared the fire, and he cooked. So he boiled the water to prepare for the tea, right? To have some tea. And you know what? The ghost came and tried to scare at the Zen master. The Zen master said, why did you disturb the people in the temple and to make them scared and don't let them stay here? And you know what? The ghost said that they are the one who took away my body. That means the physical body. And he asked what kind of what happened. And you know what? The old monk. That means the ghost told. That means we told a story. Okay, we told a story. And the Zen master said that, okay, can you dare to jump into the boiled water? And you know what? The ghost did. He went into the boiled water. Do you dare to jump into the fire? And he did. He jumped into the fire. And you know what? The Zen master said that, you are having the body that the water cannot burn you. The fire cannot burn you. What else you want? Why you attach to the physical body? And you know what? At that moment, the ghost became enlightened for that. You know what? He liberated from the mind of the ghost and reborn into the good realm. Do you understand this story, William?
I think so.
Mhm. But does that make sense to you so far?
Yes.
Okay. But what do we learn from this story?
That, well, one, the negative effects of anger, because the master was so overcome with anger by what the student did
Mm-hmm.
that it wasn't really in the spirit of the Buddhist way. That it was good that the master was practicing vegetarian eating, but that it seemed that he must have built his self, the view of himself, how he thought about himself, and his degree of importance. He must have built that around being a vegetarian, so that when the student had him eat meat unknowingly, that threatened the master's sense of self. And because there's like nothing more important to us than our sense of self, he became so angry that that's what caused his death and his like pursuing on and like causing trouble for people in that area. So I think it says something about any practice that we take on, whether it's, meditation or eating vegetarian, it is a potential source of error if we use it to reinforce the idea of ourself being the best or being special or being more important than someone else.
Okay. So in here, this story it tells us about the self-view, right? That means he so extreme attached to the vegetarian, but he's not flexible, right? That's what we call self-view. But self-delusion, that means he also attached to the physical body as well, right? Therefore, he said that they are the one took away his physical body, right? That's why he become ghost. That means ghosts also have the five skandha, right? Form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. But the form is more subtle than the human, right? It's not it's in the five material instead of the material body just like us. So but he attached to his own physical body, the one is already passed away. That this is called the self-delusion as well. Okay. So this is that is also an example of the self-delusion. The other, quickly give you another example of the story. In the old day, usually actually in Vietnam right now, we for the lunar New Year, right? On the 23rd of the December of the lunar calendar, we usually what the people do it. They will do some kind of small offering to the god of the kitchen, the god of the kitchen. That means to let him go back to the heaven, and later on the third of the New Year, and the third day of the New Year, they will invite him back. So that means with that, for the whole year, their kitchen will be safe, right? And there was one day, the Zen master and his disciple went to on the way home, right? He passed by the empty house that were no one lived there, and he went there and he was there for one night. And in the morning, he went to the kitchen where was some of the rock there, and he using his stick and knocked to the rock. what you, okay, why you so proud of yourself and you asking other people make offering you every day, okay? And when he did that, he walked away. And you know what? Not too far. When he walked away, not too far, there were the young man appear in front of him and wear with the red clothes and kneel down and bow to him and say that, thank you for your teaching. Due to your teaching, I be able to liberate myself from this and reborn into the heaven. Okay. And his disciple asked the teacher, what kind of teaching did you do? And when you did that, how come I did not know? Okay. And he said that this the young man right here, he was the god of the kitchen, right? He was the god of the kitchen. Every day he accept the offering from the people. And I just use my stick. I just whip. I just hit a few. I just make a few sound on the rock, and I say that, why you uh, uh, attach to this kind of offering? Um, and you know what? And why you attach to yourself and attach to this kind of offering? And this is just the few words of teaching that he be able to liberate from it. William, what do you think this kind of example? Do you understand my example?
I think you were saying that the Zen master pointed out the conditions that this, I think you were saying the god of the kitchen,
right,
was placing upon his help or his protection, was that he was demanding that people give him offerings in order to have his protection.
Right, that's correct.
And that can be kind of like if I'm at home and I'm cooking more than Lisa is, and if I get upset with her because she's not cooking as much as me, like if I'm demanding something in response for me giving something, then it's like, well, I'm never really giving anything, then I'm just making a trade. And so if the God realized the benefit of being generous, then that's a cause for generosity, is a cause for rebirth in the higher planes.
No, actually, the god of the kitchen, he attached to the his being. That means his type of body, and his type of body, it's just the bit of you see the status, right? The status of well. We do also have the status of the kitchen god. We put in the kitchen, I guess, and that is just a piece of what do you call, cement and rock, right? Nothing else. But why did he attach to that kind of body? And due to his attachment, he cannot be able to liberate from it. Does that make sense?
So he's attaching to the statue that was made?
Yeah, because the statue it represents him, right?
Yeah.
Just like the Buddha, right? The Buddha we saw on the altar, right? It's just the status, right?
Yeah.
But for this god of kitchen, it had to the status and asking the people to offering him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And due to that kind of attachment, he cannot be able to liberate. That means his mind, his consciousness is attached to those that kind of the body he has right now. It's just a piece of rock, nothing else. So this is called the self-delusion.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, he cannot be able to liberate it. But due to a few words of teaching from the Zen master, he understood and he just detached. He's been liberated. That means his mind is liberated. When the mind is detached, and liberated, that means you no longer that kind of being, right? You will become another being. I mean the higher being. Does it make sense?
Yes.
This is important, very important. So the self-delusion, this is what we call self-delusion. Yeah? And from here, self-view, self-pride, and self-love, this is represent for the perception of the self. That means self, it means I or me, right? But that means this is the mind, right? This is what we call craving. So the seven consonants is the cause of all suffering. It represents for the ignorance and the craving. This is why we stuck in the death and rebirth cycle. Does that make sense? This is important. Yes. But without learning this model, we will not know what kind of cause of suffering. But where that come from, even though the Buddha teaching ignorance and craving, but we don't know really the ignorance come from where, but this come from here. The seven consonants is so important. Does it make sense to you, Tammy?
Yes, but I have a question.
Yeah, right.
So are we always stuck in self-delusion, even once we come out of a certain self-delusion, the blinders come off? I mean, then we're just in your become higher being, but then you're still stuck in a different self-delusion. Would you say that's true?
That's correct. That means when we give up this body, we go to a higher being, we still have another body. But if we still attach to that kind of body, that means also cause self-delusion. That is absolutely correct. Does it make sense?
Yes, it's disappointing.
Well, that's why we need to learn the Buddha teaching, so we understand this is the true cause of our suffering. Then we will learn how to detach. And that's how we liberate ourselves from this thing. And that's how we become enlightened, right? Enlightenment, right? It's important. Okay, let me go back here and let me quickly go through here because I do not have much time right here. All right. Now, alaya, it means the storehouse consonant. It have the, well, this is, I give this example of the Steve Jobs that basically, okay, in this alaya, it contains what? The knowledge that we take in, right? Whatever the knowledge we read from the book, from the teacher, we learn from other, we put here. We also have the experience, right? That means when we go to work and we gain the experience, it's also up, it will be in here. And also, when we create the karma, that means the good card and the bad card, it will be here. All those information here, it's just like the database, okay? Okay, if you look at the computer, this is just like the hard drive. The mind continent, we have the short-term memory, it's just like the RAM, right? The computer without the RAM memory, we cannot turn on the computer. We need to have the RAM memory in order to process the data from the database into, that means when the application, right, they will retrieve the data from the database, or it will put that data inside the short-term memory to process. That's what we call perception, idea, thought, monkey mind, and so on and so on. We will continue on this thing. I think this is important. We need to understand this before I can teach you the continue on the traveling. Without this understanding, later on it will be very difficult to understand the abstract of the teaching. And this is the fundamental and the foundation for, this is just the master key to open many different doors, okay, in the Mahayana Sutra. This is the master key. Once we understand this concept, and later on when we learn the the Mahayana or even the Kappada Sutra, it will be easy to understand. Okay, all right, let me stop right here. I am a little bit past. Okay, all right. Okay, sorry. All right. Let's do this together. Jenny, can you help me to do this?
May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with heart of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Okay, that's good. Let's stop right here and we quickly jump back to the mantra. I don't know I have enough time, but let's try our best. Let me stop the recording, I guess.